for a practice. So starting the work week, division opponent, and then just make sure we have a really good week of prep, get to know these guys again. Haven't faced them since October, so just going back to school on them now. But with that, I'll take any questions.
First question will go to Mary Kay.
Yeah, Kevin, just wondering, who will start at quarterback for you on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm going to work through that this week, Mary Kay. There's certainly a chance that I could play Bailey and Dorian in this game. Jameis is still working through that shoulder injury. So I envision him being the emergency quarterback in this game. And then there's potential to play both guys.
Okay, and would you think maybe Bailey might start it and then Dorian could be available, or how would you go about that?
Yeah, we're going to get through the week to make that determination.
Okay, thank you.
Also go to Scott.
Hey, Kevin. I guess why would you want to see potentially both guys play in that finale?
Yeah, I think we're just going to work through the week to make that final determination, Scott. But ultimately, Bailey has been a guy that got here. Haven't seen him in a game just yet. Dorian is a young player who's using all these reps to get better. So there's a scenario where we do that, but I want to make sure we get through the week before making a final determination.
And then we saw the news that Sed got put on IR. And I know concussions are all different, but is there a long-term concern here, or he expected to be fine, going forward?
Yeah, you're right, Scott. They're all different. You just have to treat any injury with the symptoms and those type of things, and certainly we'll do that and follow the protocols with concussions, of course. But I'm confident that said we'll be ready to roll.
Thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Jeff.
Two questions. Did I miss something on Jerome Ford? Do you have an update on him?
You didn't miss anything, Jeff.
All right. Yeah.
No update just yet. With this being Tuesday on the calendar, obviously we're going to work through a lot of injuries throughout this week. And I'd put Jerome certainly in that group that we'll see how he progresses based on how he feels.
And then can you give your assessment on the way Dorian has played in these two games?
Yeah, I think so much for me is as a team, have come up short, and certainly there's things that I know I can do better. We as a team can do better. Obviously, it's always going to start with taking care of the football. So that's something that we'll look to do a better job of this week.
Okay, thank you.
Next go to Ashley.
Hey, Kevin, I know after the game, it sounded like Pierre had a head injury or was being evaluated for one. Is he in the protocol officially?
He is.
So with John Kelly coming back, I mean, obviously you guys have some familiarity with him. I mean, how could he help you this Sunday or this Saturday? Sorry.
I think it's just like you said, it's familiarity with John, knowing the system, knowing his skill set, his strengths. Those are important as you're trying to get ready on a short week.
Next we go to Daryl.
Yeah, Kevin, will you plan on sitting anyone for this finale to take a look at young players, or aside from the quarterback position, are you approaching this just like any other game?
Yeah, if guys are able to play physically, they will play.
And then just obviously this has been a very difficult and disappointing year for everyone involved. Just what do you hope to learn about your team and some of these guys, if there is anything to be learned in this finale in Baltimore?
I think all these games are important, Daryl, and obviously we'll reflect on the season at the end of the season. But I think the guys understand this is a great opportunity for a football team. It's a great opportunity to go compete.
All right, we'll go back to Mary Kay.
Yeah, forgive me if you already answered about Dave Njoku, but is he going to be able to play in this game?
Yeah, no, haven't talked about Dave just yet. We'll see. Put him in the group that we're going to see how he does throughout this week.
And when you, once again, I know I've asked this before, but when you look at your offense last week, Jeudy was the only receiver that had one more than one catch in the game. And it seems like whoever is at quarterback, that's going to be a tough road for him if you don't have David, and now obviously you don't have Sed. So how can you maybe get some of these other guys a little bit more involved?
Yeah, I think for us, Mary Kay, we trust all those guys at the wide receiver position, at the tight end position, at the running back position. We trust all those guys that can catch the ball in the pass game. Obviously, Jerry got a lot of attention in this last one, but we are looking to stay balanced, of course. But I think it does come down to there's guys that are on the field. We trust them to go make plays.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we'll go to Tony.
Kevin, if you do decide to play Zappy and DTR, would you divide it by half?
Working through all that, Tony. Well, I'll kind of update you guys towards the end of the week.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Cam.
Kevin, this is obviously Rodney McLeod's last NFL game. What can you say about him and what he's given to you guys for the past
Rod?
2 years?
Well, whatever I say, he's going to hear because he's sitting about 10 feet away from me. So you owe me, Rod. He's a pro's pro. He's a joy to coach. He brings it every single day. He's a tremendous leader. And all the superlatives that I say about him as a football player, he's a better person. He's a new dad, so if he looks tired, that's what that is. But great person, has played great for us. So I'm a big Rod McLeod fan.
What are you hoping for this? Obviously, you want to win, but what are you hoping for him for this last one?
Yeah, well, I'll let him address that, but I'm hoping for him to help our football team.
Thank you.
Next we'll go to Tom.
Thanks, Jordan. Hey, Coach, Happy New Year. I know you're singularly focused on this week, and excuse the awkwardness of this question, but have you talked to ownership about your future and whether you'll be back next season?
Yeah, for me, Tom, I do have the singular focus. I have the blinders on to this week. I have a lot of conversations with ownership. They've been extremely supportive this season. Obviously, they share in the disappointment for where we are right this minute, but really the focus is on this game.
And since Coach Vrabel is no longer around, can you just reflect on the time you had with him? And are we sure that he's going to interview for a coaching position and not a middle linebacker spot?
Yeah, Coach Vrabes is one of my favorites. Just a rock solid human. Was a great help to this football team, a great help to me, a great help to our scout team defense. He's going to do great. Part of adjusting that his contract was letting him get a head start on some of these interviews, and I think a team will be lucky to have him.
Thanks.
All right, and last one from Daniel.
Hey, Kevin, I'm going to squeeze in two quick ones. I know that you said you're working through all the injuries, but nobody to this point you can already rule out for Saturday because of injuries.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. And then second, as you do kind of, put a bow on the season on Saturday, we've asked you a lot about, a lot of the changes on the offensive coaching staff and obviously Ken Dorsey coming as offensive coordinator. In your eyes, what's the key to having a successful kind of marriage of, bringing in a lot of different coaches from different systems, so to speak, and having them all come together to implement, one vision?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to reflect on the offense yet. I think those are the type of things you talk about at the end of the season, but that's our job as coaches, to put a system together that, we all believe in, that we all work to, putting our guys in positions to succeed. Pretty simple.
Thank you.
All right, we're actually going to do one more from Scott, and then
Okay.
yeah.
Hey, Kevin, with back to Sed, I know he showed some stuff before he got hurt. I'm just curious, like what you saw from him and how disappointing that you didn't get to see more over this last month and a half.
Yeah, certainly disappointed for Sed. He was playing well there until he was injured, which was a shame. And like we talked about, his opportunities grew as his play time increased, and he was out there. So he'll work real hard. I think he's certainly a young player that can continue to improve, and that'll be a big part of this offseason for him. But of course, there's disappointment that he wasn't able to continue that strong work that he had when he was playing.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, Rod McLeod coming at you guys here. Come on, Rod.
All right, guys, we have Rod here. We have a couple questions, but you know how it goes. Raise your hands. First, we'll go to Ashley.
Hey Rod, just a few days before the last game here, just what are your emotions and feelings heading into this one?
Honestly, for me, just staying present, just living in the moment, to be honest, taking things one day at a time, and really just cherishing every single day that I have left. So it's hard for me to look ahead, but just looking forward to, man, preparing one last week with my guys in order to walk away with a victory. I think that's what's most important to me right now, is figuring out a way to win.
Thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Mary Kay.
Yeah, Rodney, in relation to Miles saying a couple Fridays ago that he would like for the Browns to show him kind of a winning, contending blueprint for him to want to be back. If you were the person that were in charge of kind of laying out that blueprint for him, what are some things that you see on this football team? You've been around a long time. You've played on some great teams. What do you see on this football team? Would you put on that list to show Miles that he ought to be back here next year?
Well, good thing is I'm not those guys that make those decisions. So, I don't necessarily have to do that. My job is to show up every single day and help lead this team accordingly, and put forth the right amount of effort to try to prepare to win every game possible. I think for Miles, of course, he's been around here for a very long time. He's a future Hall of Famer. He is a Brown and really symbolizes everything that the city embodies, through his work ethic, the way he shows up. And so I know he's had some tough years, and he's a winner. And I think we all want to win. So again, I'm not at liberty to decide on what he wants. But I'm sure for him, he just wants to, again, what he said, he wants to win, and he wants to feel comfortable and having that reassurance. So whatever that looks like for him, I'm sure they'll deliver and make sure that he's pleased and he stays here.
Do you see good things ahead for this defense, though?
I do. I think it starts with the character of every man, and I think despite the outcome that we've had this year, being on the losing side, you've seen great fight from start to finish, effort, guys showing up every single day, enjoying one another, celebrating each other, and so that is the making of something special that you can walk away from and say, we have the right character, guys. We haven't lost our identity, our ways, despite the losses, and you can move forward into next year with that.
Thank you.
Let's go to Jeff.
Hey, Rodney, what do you think you will miss most about being an NFL player when your career does end here on Saturday?
I think the locker room, the players. You always can just revert back to a moment that you shared with guys that you've had the pleasure of sharing the locker room with, and I think for a lot of my fellow OGs, that's what they say they miss the most. And I think it'll hold true for me. Just those locker room moments, the things that people don't see, I think is what I'll cherish the most and hold close to my heart.
Thank you.
Go to Cam.
Hey, Rodney, I know that this is not something that happens just because it's your last game, that it's something you've been doing over the past 2 years, but as a vet heading out of your NFL career, what are some words of wisdom that you might be leaving with some of the guys on the team, especially some of these young guys who have had these opportunities kind of thrust upon them this year?
Just for me, it's always being ready for your moment, and seize the moments that are presented to you. I think I am a perfect example of that. You know, coming in undrafted and not necessarily knowing if tomorrow existed for me, and just putting it all on the line, but then presented with a moment for me to showcase my abilities and show my worth. And I took full advantage of that. So that's really my message to everyone. And honestly, just always have that chip on your shoulder. It's a tough league, it's a tough business, knowing that, man, every single year people want your seat, and you gotta earn it, you gotta keep it. And so you got to have that mindset. You reinvent yourself every single year that you step foot in inside these doors, and because it's a humbling league. So those are just some words of wisdom, and that I can leave with a few guys.
Thank you.
Next, go to Tony.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, Rodney, congratulations on your career.
Appreciate it.
What do you think the biggest differences are between this year's defense and last year's defense?
I mean, that's hard to say. I think what we have pointed out over the weeks, over the course of the year, is that we play pretty stout throughout majority of the game. But I think where we have missed the mark this year is just a few lapses that we didn't have last year, and that's varied. It's been a kind of a combination of a lot of things, but those plays have really stood out and impacted our play, and ultimately have kind of resulted in a difference between wins and losses for us. So I would say just that inconsistency a little bit is what I have identified, I think, as to why we've had some setbacks in a few areas that we would love, man, to have back, of course. But yeah, that's what I would note.
And do you intend to pursue a second career in media?
We'll see. It's a possibility. Doing certain things outside of the game to put myself in position, but we'll see if the other side of the camera is for me.
The other side.
The other side.
Next, I'll go to Dan.
Hey, Rod, kind of along those lines, I did want to ask if you kind of knew what was next for you. And I was just curious if there were any guys that you've leaned on to sort of help you in that post-football transition, because I know sometimes that can be a little bit difficult for guys.
Yeah, there are no necessarily set plans. I think for myself, just going to enjoy freedom. I think we'll put it that way. Having my time back and being a full-time husband, dad, son, brother, all those things that I've kind of missed out on. I think I'm just going to enjoy being a regular person for a little bit. And we'll see. But there's plenty that I do outside the sport already that'll keep me busy. I'm alone. And then I've had several conversations with guys who've now entered into that next act. One guy in particular, Malcolm Jenkins, guy I had a pleasure of being right beside in the locker room, winning a ton of games, and now he's made that transition. So he's somebody that I talk to very often about his walk and some of his difficulties, and and also what he's doing and what's his wins. So yeah.
Is there a particular piece of advice you can share with us that he's given you, just out of curiosity?
I think one thing a lot of us, a lot of retired players struggle with schedule. You've been kind of handed a script and a schedule for so long, and you got into this routine and how your years flow and how the season operates that, now when you have a full calendar year to like operate out of, you tend to struggle. So, for him, he's just put a lot of things in perspective. For me, whether he's now made his norm kind of identical to what a football schedule looked like for him. But now, of course, you're not necessarily on the practice field, but there's a way to still have like that um, that that correlation there in a way. So that was very helpful for me. Just sticking to what and really just rearranging a few things that now align with whatever it is that you're doing. Now.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So go to Scott.
Hey, Rodney. So just how new a dad are you?
You said what?
Kevin said you're a new dad. Just
Yeah,
how new?
baby girl. Yeah, 7 months.
Okay.
7 months in. Yeah, so I'm getting the hang of it. Of fatherhood, enjoying it, loving every minute. Definitely lost some hours of sleep, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
And I know you said you're focused on this week, but have you thought about what the emotions are going to be like Sunday when it's over, or even during the game?
I don't. It was just gonna let things just take its course, and we'll see how it all unfolds.
Gotcha. Thanks.
All right, last one from Ashley. Make it quick.
Just one more kind of reflecting question, Rod. So, I know you've spent so much of your career with Jim and playing for him. So, just what has it meant for you to be able to come back these last couple of years and get 2 more years in his system and with him as your coordinator?
It's been special. When you have the luxury of being around a man like Jim, who's a great leader, who's a winner. Those opportunities don't come back around very often. And so, my stint there in Philly, we won a ton of games, of course, the Super Bowl. And when it was presented for me to have that reconnection again with Jim, it was a no-brainer. And he's what I love most about him. He's consistent. You know exactly who you're going to get every single day, and he allows us to be us. And he really is invested in his guys, and it shows. So I'm forever grateful for everything that he's taught me, that I've been able to add to my game, because he's a high football IQ, so there's a lot to learn. And I enjoy all of his stories that he tells too. He's countless amount, probably heard almost every version at this point, but they never get old, never get tired of it. And man, much respect for Jim.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Rod. Last one. No, you're done. This was your last.
I'll bet. All right. I like last one. Hold it.
All right, guys, we have Jerry on deck.
For sure.
All right, we have Jerry here. If you have questions, raise your hand. Anybody? All right, we'll go to Daryl.
Yeah, Jerry, Kevin told us that he's not really sure what he's going to do at quarterback just yet. Said, it's probably going to be DTR and potentially Bailey Zappi. Just wondering what type of effect that might have on your preparations for Baltimore, considering it is a short week for you.
It's not gonna really have a big, too much effect on me. You know, I'm gonna still keep doing what I need to do throughout the week. You know, and prepare how I've been preparing all year. And just wait till game day and see how everything goes.
And following the game Sunday, you were pretty hard on yourself about a couple of plays you felt that you should have made. Just looking back on it, having to watch the film or whatever, do you feel that same way? And also, too, do you feel like you taking that accountability after that game kind of resonated a little bit, within the locker room, taking blame for something that maybe not necessarily was completely your fault?
I just think, me personally, I just think it's the truth. I think there was like 3 balls that I needed to catch. You know, it was big play moments that would have helped my team be in a better position. So, me personally, I feel like that was just what it was and what it is.
All right, next one, Mary Kay.
Yeah, Jerry, what can you tell us about what you've seen so far in practice about Bailey? And I don't know if you've been able to catch too many passes from him because I know he's been running the scout team and stuff like that. But what do you think of him so far and what you think he might be able to do if he gets in the game?
He got a great arm. I know what he done in college. You know, broke all records. You know, I think I seen him play a little bit when he was at the Patriots. So he a great passer. You know, great reading the defense. Gonna be excited to see him out there get a little opportunity to play.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Jeff.
Hey, Jerry, I don't know if we'll get a chance to talk to you again since I won't be there Saturday, but how would you reflect on your first year here in Cleveland?
Bittersweet for real. The season ain't go how much I planned. We will always want to win, always want to be able to go to the playoff. But unfortunately, that's not been a situation here. But overall, like, it's been a little frustrating not being able to win games how we want to. But I feel like there's gonna be better times ahead for sure.
But you personally, you first 1,000-yard season was a success for you personally.
Yeah. I mean, first 1,000-yard season. Very blessed. But yeah, don't really matter if you ain't win no games.
Thank you.
Let's go to Cam.
Hey, Jerry, kind of off of that, I asked you before if you still saw, the potential of what this team could do, and you said you did. I'm just wondering, for you, as you entered this last one of the season, looking ahead to 2025, what are some of the characteristics of this team that you feel good about, that you feel has potential moving forward?
Just the team. We just got a lot of dogs and a lot of fight. We got players in the locker room that's not gonna give up, no matter what the record is, no matter this the last game of the season. We still got a game opportunity this week to go out there and get a win. And I feel like everybody in the locker room have that mindset. And still gonna work hard throughout the week just to be able to come out there on Saturday and get that W.
Did it surprise you at all, through all the kind of adversity you guys faced, that you guys were able to band together? It didn't feel like things kind of crumbled in other ways that other places it might have?
Yeah, most teams, struggling the way we've been struggling this season. A lot of players probably give up and quit, but these not the guys we got in the locker room. We're gonna just keep fighting, keep moving forward until we get to where we need to be at.
Thanks, Jerry.
Mhm.
Next we'll go to Tony.
Okay, Jerry, we know how frustrating this has been team-wise, but you're 6 receptions away from breaking the Browns' all-time record for catches in a season.
Yeah.
That's got to be a goal at this point. What else is there, right?
Mm. Yeah, I didn't even know that. Now that you told me, I mean, if it happened, it happened. Fortunately, it happens with a win.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Thank you.
Next we'll go to Scott.
Hey, Jerry. Sed was put on IR today, so it'll mean he misses the last 6 games with that concussion. What did you see of him before the injury? And I guess how disappointing that he wasn't able to build upon that over this last stretch of the year.
I know it's very disappointing for Sed, and especially for the offense. Sed's a big piece in the offense. Great playmaker, big physical receiver that could catch the ball in the middle of the field, um, uh, deep. He had a big 2 touchdown games that helped us win that game. I know it's pretty frustrating not having him out there, but his health is more important than anything.
And I don't know if you even know this, but you guys are like 18-point underdogs, which is pretty big in the NFL. Does that add anything to the? I know you guys are always looking for some type of motivation. Does that make that list?
Um, 18 point dog, man. We don't really look at that for real, but it's another team, another opportunity to go out there for a win. We're gonna fight to get that.
Thanks.
All right, last one from Mary Kay.
Yeah, Jerry, last week again, after the game, you mentioned that you wish you could have made more plays for DTR. So now he might get another chance to play in this game. What have you seen in him? What do you hope to be able to do for him in this game?
I seen the more he played, the more confident he get. So I just want to be able to make every catch that comes my way, every catch that he throws to me. That's the biggest goal for real. Just make everything easier for the quarterback for real. Just make my plays when it comes to me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that wraps us up. Thanks, Jerry.